Hi, everyone, and welcome to this week's Crush It in Sales podcast. I'm your host, Melinda Van Fleet, a sales strategy and success coach, and I am so grateful you joined me today. This is my first podcast back on the mic since all of my travels. I went on vacation, and then I went to Nashville for Southwestern, and because of all the timing and everything I had going on, I actually did something I don't think I've ever done before, which is batch my podcasts. I batched Good Karma Success Coach and I batched Crush It in Sales. A lot of podcasters batch, and it works for them. I've just never been called to do it. I like to record things as they come through. So normally my podcasts are only like a day ahead of time, day or two ahead of time maybe. But it was an interesting experience to batch, and because things come through me and I don't script, I'm kind of like, what did I say? So I might have to go back and listen to them again. But anyhow, I am super excited and I can't believe it. It's my 1-year anniversary this week of Life and Love Lessons, How to Discover Confidence Through Your Spiritual Journey. And it led me down this little path of having confidence in selling. I remember when I went through the book launch process last year with both of my books, and even the co-authored book series that I did back in 2020, it really was a test for confidence. It really was a lot of different things I had to push through. Am I being pushy? Am I being salesy? I don't want to bug people. What if they don't like what I wrote? We go through these things in our head. I would dare to say the majority of people. And it affects our energy and it affects our alignment. And I think that it takes time, at least it did for me, to get to a place where you're like, I'm good. I'm just putting it out there. And I completely recognize that if it's not something for you, then that is okay. And that was a big part of my journey last year, especially with Life and Love Lessons, because it is a spiritual book, meaning it's not religious, it's not Bible. I do believe there's a difference between spirituality in terms of talking about the universe, spirit guides, tarot card readings, mediums, and something that's religious. That person goes to church, they read the Bible, they have a different context around their viewpoints of God. So my book might not be for you. and that's okay. And I think that when I first launched it, I was a little nervous about that. And now I'm just like, yeah, it might not be for you. I mean, it is estimated that 50% of humans are star seeds, meaning that they are spiritual, they're from another place. And then 50% are from the earth and they just don't relate to it. They don't get it. It's totally fine. And that's something I actually write about in the book. So understanding that and then having the confidence to just put myself out there and the right people will find me, I think is a really important part of the journey in sales. So this goes with anything. And I'm just using this as an example because it's my book anniversary, but this goes with anything you sell or even anything you do or anything you post. The right people will find you, and having that trust and belief without evidence is just really, really important versus following what someone else is telling you to do. And maybe they had success with it, but it may not feel good to you. So really kind of understanding the differences with those things and getting right with your head and your confidence and your soul alignment to really do the best job possible for yourself and your business. It's a really big topic, and it's something that I help people with as a private coach, because it's too much for this podcast. Because really you have to be able to catch things and see the patterns in your brain, and often an outside third party perspective can help you with that. But at least this podcast might start you to think about it. Am I that person? Is this what's going on with me? And even so, are you that person that's been following someone else's advice, but your results aren't the same? What's going on there? What's going on in your head? What's going on in your body? How are you feeling? So there's a lot to unpack with this, but it's something that is important if you are really looking to build a sales business. So I was looking at my book before starting to record this podcast, and oh my gosh, I have so many business stories in my book. I forget. I know it sounds crazy. If you're an author, you can nod if you're like that too. You're like, yeah, I forgot I wrote about that. So I wrote so many different business stories, so many things back to sales, so many things back to manifestation, and how different jobs that I had put out there that I'd like to, companies I'd like to work for, things I'd like to do ended up happening. And it's actually really kind of fascinating. So I might break this book down more into different pieces of content, but I also truly believe that I have evolved so much since writing this book. As we all should be evolving, right? Year after year, you should be going, yeah, I've evolved from where I was before, and I've learned these lessons, and I've changed how I behave and how I be to evolve in your life and in your business. So it's actually fun that I'm working on the new book, Life and Love Lessons 2, Patterns, Evolution, and Transformation, with my niece, Sienna. So anyhow, stay tuned for that. It's likely going to be late fall, but stay tuned for that. So I'm starting to lose my voice. I did catch a little air conditioning cold, is what I call it. I've had these before, going from hot to cold as I travel. They're kind of a little bit annoying, but I feel fine. So it's nothing major, but it definitely broke. So I'm going to cut this podcast short so you don't hear me cough. But I hope everyone is doing great out there. I would love to connect. I will put my email and website link in the podcast show notes. And until next week, I hope you crush it in sales. Thank you for listening.